you need to dig out the root belief. I don't know why it took me so long to understand this very simple concept. There's just too much information online, and then too few people talking about the root cause, the root underlying cause that makes it so that all the other stuff won't work. It's the root belief, and it's usually some version of feeling of unworthiness, of not enoughness, of lacking in some aspect. And I think that we all have this. Like, this is life. Like, we're born and we absorb ideas and beliefs from our surroundings, and inevitably this is earth. Like, everything that we absorb, even in the best of circumstances, may have some underlying beliefs that are not quite even necessarily yours. And at first it seems obvious. People are like, oh yeah, like there's like these beliefs that these different societies have, and usually they're pretty easy to pinpoint and people talk about them. But I'm talking about something a little bit deeper. Identifying your particular flavor of lack inheritance, I think, is where the magic starts to come in. And it's the foundation for all the other stuff you want to create. And it's the hardest work. It's the hardest thing to dig up. It's difficult to like go under the foundation. It's not a pleasant feeling. It's one of the reasons why being alone, and not just alone as in like being alone in the world, but being purposefully alone, taking a break from outside influences. It used to be that this wasn't something that people had to think about so much because you didn't have social media and you didn't have all these news sources bombarding you all day long. So being alone was a lot more of a natural thing. But when you're alone, you can finally hear and you can identify the particular flavor of inherited dissonance and disconnect that you've gotten. And by identifying the particular flavor that you have, that's where it becomes special. Someone can talk to you all day long about how, oh, you have this rooted belief in your that you're unworthy and you have to heal that. And there's a ton of people talking about that. But the thing is, it doesn't mentally process that way until you identify the voice, the actual voice that it's coming from. And it's usually a collective voice of all the people, the family members, the friends, the society that you lived around. And it came to you in a particular flavor with a particular package, and it was aimed at particular things that were specific to you. And until you identify them, everything else feels difficult. Everything else feels like a struggle. Every time you sit down or you're just trying to like move the energy around a certain topic in your life, and you're trying to visualize and set intentions for other aspects of your life, you can't do it. Or if you do it, it's short-term gains. So many people, they'll create something, money, relationship, a partner. They won't have the stability to keep it up because it wasn't built on the steady foundation. So when I ended my last relationship, I actually set out with a very specific intention. I knew that if I really wanted to, I could make more things happen in my life like this. But I didn't want that. I knew that there was something else in there that needed to be taken care of. And I knew that if I didn't take care of it, nothing I created would last. So I purposefully set the intention of being alone. I think instinctually I knew I needed to identify the root cause. And for me, it was something revolving around being the black sheep of the family. I had always been identified as being kind of artsy, kind of ditzy, kind of chaotic. It was kind of the reputation that was built around me over the years with my family, my friends. One of not really like thinking practically, like having my head in the clouds a lot. And so a lot of the beliefs that I built up were very much centered around that main image that my surroundings had fed back to me and helps and used to kind of like help me. Well, not just, it wasn't, people aren't doing things intentionally, right? But what they were doing was they were reinforcing for me some of my worst qualities throughout the years. And again, it's not other people's fault. Where people are people, like they're going to, you're going to find this happens to you no matter where you go or who you're with, to a certain extent. Whatever it is that you're projecting to them continuously over a period of time, they're going to feed back to you, and they're going to help to construct this mental image that they and you have of yourself. This is why when you hear about really, really successful people who break from the norm, people who do amazing things, is that they have to leave their hometown, their family. They have to break away from the environment in which their character, their persona, with those fundamental beliefs was created, because otherwise how are they going to change it? It's so much more difficult to change it. I would say even close to impossible to change those fundamental beliefs if you're being hammered with them day in and day out by the people who you're closest to. The little things, they matter more than the big thing, the big statements. The little things, the little daily interactions. Someone comes over to you and they see you're working on a project, and then they say just something innocuous like, "Oh, you're still working on that," right? Like that leaves an impression in your brain, and it feeds into the persona that you're trying to get rid of. Or somebody meets you on the street and it's like, "Oh, you're still working there," or something like that. It can come in any flavor whatsoever, but that's why identifying the particular flavor for you is so important. And then you start paying attention to the little things. I am super shy, and I've been living in the equivalent of a fishbowl for the past few days while I've been here at the beach. And there were some people out there, so I had to change my setting. There we go. So you guys get my point, hopefully. This becomes really infuriating because I feel like there's so many like so-called gurus out there who talk about all sorts of rituals and things that are blocking you from your highest good, from manifesting the life of your dreams. And then at the end of the day, it's just your root core beliefs. That's it. That's all it takes. Even so, it's a bit of a process. It's not something where you just snap your fingers and all of a sudden all your core beliefs are changed. It's something that you have to actively keep an eye on. Then you have to seek moments of quietness so you can listen and remember, because it's so easy to forget. But this is your main task. If you want anything in life, is sitting down day after day, remembering the core belief that you need to change. And by the way, when I'm talking about, when I was using the example of being the black sheep of the family, that was a pretty basic example. That was the less triggering of the beliefs that I kind of dug up during this whole process that I underwent. Often it's going to be more insidious stuff, but the story that you create around the things that happen to you, that's where the hidden belief lies. That's where the thing that you need to, I want to call heal or fix, tweak. That's the thing you need to get in there and just kind of like lightly, gently tweak. Because if you turn that into a project too, I mean, you can turn anything into a problem layered on top of a problem on top of a problem. Oftentimes, I think just recognizing it is good enough. Something about just shedding light on it and accepting that whatever failures you might have made were made from a point of view of carrying the burden of this belief, and you were really doing the best that you could, and probably every person you interacted with was also doing the best that they could. I'm actually right now at one of my favorite destinations for solitude, purposely doing exactly what I said. Feeling that drive to be alone and heeding it and following it and coming through to some deep thoughts that I hadn't really surfaced for me for a very long time. But that's a topic for another video. See you in the next video.